Hey guys, EDDBUD here, running news coming to your eyes and ears. Let's be having ya. Rundown of the latest running news from over the last week. Story 1. In a recent video I commented a little bit in jest about relict running shoes, you know, like pre-worn running shoes, so they're like, you know, broken in nicely. But the world's a weird place because just a couple of days after that I see that Nike are in fact gonna sort of do that. The world's like that right now, isn't it? You think of something totally bizarre and weird and it becomes a thing. Nike's move to zero, more life, less waste. We'll see them selling refurbished running shoes. I think it's a good thing. A policy with a sustainable kick. So any lightly worn or imperfect sneakers that Nike receive back will be refurbished and sold in specific outlets. Only in the US at the moment, apparently. I'm sure they'll expand it out to the UK as well. We'll be able to nip over to Frome High Street and pick up a pair of refurbished Nike shoes. Probably not. You know, customers return shoes that are the wrong size all the time, don't they? Look at running shoe enthusiasts. We get running shoes, they're not the right size, we need a half up, half down, all that kind of jive. So once they receive them back, an expert will examine the footwear very closely and then clean them up and sanitize them if they're able to resell them. After that, they're sent back to the stores for resale at a discount price as well. Seems to make perfect sense to me. It might even improve the footfall to some of their stores. I reckon people that work in Nike stores laugh about that all the time. I wonder what the footfall is today. So I think they got 3 categories of refurbished shoe. Category 1 is like new. It might just be that the box is missing, but other than that the shoe's practically perfect. Gently worn with light wear. And then cosmetically flawed, where there's some sort of stain or a mark on them or something. Other than that, in perfect condition. That kind of sounds a little bit like a pair of running shoes after one run. A great scheme, and I have only one question, and that is why did it take so long? Story 2. An Ultraboost 6 already? So it seems like Adidas are moving back to basics. They've got another Ultraboost model lined up already. You know, there's just clearly not enough. There's not enough Ultraboost models. People want more. I mean, they're still selling some pairs of the 19, the 20, 21. There's a whole host of like DNA versions, the 4.0, the 5.0, and now at the end of April there's a 6.0. They're moving away from that strange space age look that they had in the Ultraboost 21. If you remember back in 2015, people would often say it was the world's greatest running shoe. But times have changed, haven't they? Like they always do. So this new leaked image of the Ultraboost 6.0 seems to draw from pretty much every single Ultraboost model that came before it. Classic Parley Ocean plastic in the upper, with that knit style feel as well. I'm not talking knitting needles knit. And you've got that familiar midfoot cage and the heel cup, which we saw back in the Ultraboost 1. Certainly less boost around the heel section this time. It's not kind of growing up and around the heel. And no sign of the LEP system either. If anyone knows where it's gone, let me know in the comments. Regardless of everybody's stance on the Ultraboost, it does seem to work for some runners. Some people just smash through Zoom X or React or any of the other stuff, and Boost just seems to be that bit more durable. Of course, we have Continental rubber down below. I think it's a release date of April the 22nd, although I've seen nothing so far. But you know what Adidas are like, they'll just go and throw it out there. It's certainly an odd release scheduled from the 3-stripe brand. We only saw the Ultraboost 21 drop in January, and already we've got an updated version. Story 3. Sticking with Adidas, there's a couple of beautiful images here of the new Boston 10 and the Adizero Adios 6. Oh, that Boston 10 looks good. Like cookies, straight from the oven. Lightstrike Pro atop a bottom section of Lightstrike. Certainly more Lightstrike standard there in the heel, probably to create a little bit of stability, and then that gets more minimal as it creeps up to the forefoot. Lots of that more compressive Lightstrike Pro foam under the midfoot area. We got a transparent mesh here and a very minimal toe box reinforcement, and some eyelet reinforcement there. They've really gone back to a minimal style. Lots of padding on the tongue though, look at it. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? Could make for a stupendously good long run shoe. What do you think, cats? Very close to that Boston 10. is the Adizero Adios 6. That same combo of midsole foams popping up again. Kind of feels like a minimised version actually of the Boston shoe, doesn't it? Though we have light strike foam directly under the heel in the Adios 6, with that pro foam only starting about 2 inches in. Certainly a less prominent tongue on the Adizero 6, probably as per the previous iterations. It's always a bit minimised, that shoe. Tasty, very tasty Adidas. I'm in for both of those. What do you think, guys? Very exciting times, very exciting. Story 4. This surrounds the NN Mission Marathon that took place on the 18th of April. Kipchoge and the gang using this one as a last sort of tune-up race, I think. Kipchoge certainly didn't seem to be going all out, although there were a couple of times where he did look truly magnificent. Obviously we have the Tokyo Olympic Games hopefully coming a little later this year. Fingers crossed. Kipchoge won in a time of 2 hours, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. He was wearing those Nike Vaporfly Next Percent 2 Breaking 2 edition as well. I'm still not sure about those front bits. They just look like birds' beaks to me. Just don't like it. Can't get on with it. But like a pelican or something, that's what it looks like to me. I've got a slightly different take on this event to everybody else. I know that there are lots of other runners who are trying to qualify, or at least get in under the qualifying time for the Olympics. But obviously with the current travel restrictions and the likelihood that there'll be next to no fans or crowd at those Olympics, I think this one's about getting customised to running with no one around. He constantly mentions about the fact that it's tougher running on your own, and we all know that. I know that for a fact. Trying to do that half marathon time trial was really mentally tough when I only had, you know, the Prodigy and a load of other drum and bass artists in my ears to keep me company, and the lady that was walking her dog around the trading estate at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I think it's to get customised to those race environments with very few people around. I have to say it was quite inspiring watching the female and male runners blazing around that circuit. They were running amongst those aircraft and everything. It was very cool. Vast straights there seemed like a dream to some runners, but to others a total nightmare. I really love those long straights and stuff, but I like trees and other things to look at. There was not an awful lot else. I guess once you've been around a few times as well, the scenery starts getting a little bit boring. Good to see Kip looking strong, and there were some really good times as well from some of the female athletes. Katharina Steinruck was the women's winner with a personal best time. She came in at 2 hours 25:59. I believe she's an Asics athlete. I think she had the new Asics ones on the feet, but I don't think that was anything to do with it. I think it was just awesome training, awesome running. I did see that the second and third place women were wearing the Adizero Adios Pro as well. But in the men's race, all next percent. Okay, that's all the running news for you for this week. Musical interlude time. Today, an album from Orange Juice from 1982. This one's called Rip It Up. It starts off with the classic Orange Juice track Rip It Up with the synth bass line. You know the one. Kind of sounds like a disco tune, but sort of done in a really weird fashion in the Edwyn Collins style. Now I believe at this point that Edwyn Collins had brought in another couple of members to the band, and he was the only original member, so there's some more African influences on this one. I think actually one of the chaps that plays on the album wrote a few of the tunes too. I like the R&B style track called Mud in Your Eye. That one's really great. Some really interesting backing vocals on that one. That's what I love about Orange Juice, you know, that period they just have a go at any style. I really like that. A band that don't just do the same old tune over and over again. Then there's the quite sinister Breakfast Time, which is, yeah, doesn't sound like any breakfast time I know. Breakfast time's quite jolly, you know, normally, but not this track. Quite dark. Then there's another sort of weird poppy R&B style track called Flesh of My Flesh. A really fun record. You may well have never heard of it, you may dislike it immensely, but do go and check it out. You never know, you could enjoy it. Okay, thanks for tuning in for the running news and sticking with me to the very end of the video. It is most appreciated. If you haven't done so already, guys, we're almost at 18,000 subscribers now. Please do hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications so you may be notified of when we launch the new videos. It also helps us out in terms of the YouTube algorithm if you give this video a thumbs up like and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD and I'll be seeing you